What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? I told this story before, but for those who've never heard it. So, anyways, when I was younger, my grandmother she didn't want no animals in the house, right? But she let me have a fish tank. So I got a fish tank. It was a 10-gallon tank, and we didn't know anything about fish, right? We didn't know anything. So we went out to the pet store. We got some fish. So we got Oscars, Jack Dempsey's, and I forgot the other one, right? So what we noticed was in about maybe a month, maybe not even a month, the fish seemed to be getting like bigger. So we go back to the pet store, said, hey, we think we need a bigger tank. So I think we went to a 70 or 75 inch, right? But within a couple of months, the fish seemed to like start outgrowing it. So we then went to a 120-gallon tank. Got that, and it just seemed like the fish just kept growing, right? So I went back, talked to the pet store owner, and he told us, he was like, well, listen, the Jack Dempsey's, the Oscars, they're big fish. So the fish are going to grow to act, to the size of the tank. So if you have a 120-gallon tank, it's going to get, like that. You keep going up, the fish is going to get bigger. And I say that to say this, right? We made a choice that we didn't want to get a bigger tank, right? We didn't want to get a bigger tank. So because we didn't want to get a bigger tank, the fish stopped growing, right? But it wasn't that it wasn't supposed to grow bigger. We made the fish uncomfortable by not getting a bigger tank. And I say that to say this. A lot of us, our blessings are at a standstill because of our environment. A lot of us cannot fulfill what we have to fulfill because of what we're around. That's why your blessings are being delayed. You see, if you're around people who are comfortable with you being this size, you're not going to grow because you become comfortable. And even when some people are not comfortable, they feel like, I feel like out of place in this, that, and other. They will stay simply because they don't want these other people to, start looking at them crazy, right? But there's always somebody who once they say, you know what, I'm a little uncomfortable, let me step up over here. Those same group of people, they will talk about them like a dog. Hey, you heard from such and such. I don't talk to them no more. They acting weird. You know what I'm saying? That's what this generation like to say. They acting weird, man. They on some other stuff. Yes. Yes, I'm on some other stuff. I'm on to bigger and better things. See, I said this before about faking it till you make it. No, it's faithing it till you make it, right? And sometimes before you receive that blessing, you got to act as if it's already here. See, that's the thing, right? The tongue is powerful. The tongue is powerful. You know what I'm saying? So you have to start even speaking it as it's already. You know what I mean? Like if, let's just say a car. You have a car, but you want a better car. This car is reliable, but it's starting to wear and tear, it's starting to break down, you're starting to put more money into the car than what it's worth, right? So if you want a better car, you got to start acting like that's the car that you have already. You see, a lot of times when people want better, they start treating what they have worse. Somebody says, hey, your tires is looking a little bald. I don't care. I'm going to get another car anyway. Hey, you know what I'm saying? This look like it got a couple marks on the side. Hey, I don't care. I'm going to get another car anyway. You get inside the car, right? The car is filthy. Man, what's wrong with your car? I'm going to get another car anyway, right? But when you're walking in expectation, you still go clean that car every day. You treat that car as if the car that you want, you already have. If you want better, right? A better job, a better, position or whatever, right? You don't start going to work saying, you know what, I ain't doing that because I ain't going to be here much longer anyway. Oh, man, why you late? Man, I don't care nothing about that. I had a job interview the other day, so I know I'm going to get this job, so I don't care about this job, right? But what you should be doing is that job that you want, that promotion that you want, start acting like you have it now. Be on time. Matter of fact, I was raised, my grandfather, he he was never late, and I'm never late. I'm always going to be super early, right? And it gets on, you know what I'm saying, people's nerves. If you tell me to be there at 1 o'clock, I'm probably out the door at my house at 12:20 for a 15-minute ride. Just because that's just how I was, you know what I'm saying? That's just in me, right? But if you want that better job, if you want that promote, don't just be on time, be early. Stop mingling with all them other coworkers that's disgruntled, right? Because if you're mingling with them, it starts to consume you. And even if it's not consuming you, the other people think you're just like them. Another quick story. I remember I was about 17 years old, I believe, and I was out, and my grandfather was driving, and I seen him coming, right? I seen him coming up the street. Everybody knew my grandfather, right? So they said, hey, man, there go Papa. That's what we called him. There go Papa right there. So I look, I said, oh, it sure is. So I start waving. Hey, Papa, hey, hey. And he kept driving. So I said, well, you just drive past like that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he didn't see me. So when I came home later that night, I said, hey, Papa, I saw you. You didn't see me waving? And he looked at me and he said, oh, all y'all look the same. And I was like, huh? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm your grandson. What you mean all y'all look the same? But later on in life, I know what he meant. You see, because of the crowd that I was around, I looked just like them. And even though he knew, he knows me, he raised me, he couldn't tell the difference because of my environment. Because of what I was around, I looked just like them. I looked just like them. So my question to you is, look at your circle. What does that circle look like? Look at your conversation. What does that conversation sound like? Look at who you choose to do life with. What does that look like? What does it look like? Are y'all aligned? You see, I got a tattoo that says, you know what I'm saying, don't be, yoked, right? And the meaning is two people have to be equally yoked. Y'all got to be on the same mission. I can't want to be this way and you want to be another way because we're not aligned. It's not going to work. Friendships. You can have friends and still be distant from them if their morals and values don't align with yours. Because like I said about my grandfather, he couldn't tell the difference between me and everybody else. Now think about the blessings that you're waiting to come. God knows who you are. But if he's looking down and you look like everybody else, let me hold back these blessings until you can step away. Let me hold back these blessings until you can separate yourself so you can receive them. One of my biggest problems, like I said, and I say this all the time, I was one of them people, and I'm still working on it, that I'm gonna go tit for tat with you. You push me, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You say this is like that. That's my weakness. That's what I'm working on. But what I learned was I delayed so many of my blessings, allowing myself to look just like them. I was defending myself and I didn't even have to. And once I started understanding that, God started putting me in rooms that even I didn't feel that I belonged. God started talking to the people in that next chapter of my life. He was just waiting on me. He was just waiting on me to get my mind right and start, focusing and walking in that line. He didn't already talk to the person on the other side of the door. I just had to walk. So anyways, I just wanted to say this morning because it was just on my mind. And I was just thinking about, when I was younger, about that fish tank. Think about that. Think about when you go to the zoo and all of this other type of stuff. In the wild, those animals sometimes are bigger. You know why? It's because of the environment. I think I read somewhere about, I think it was the great white shark or whatever, that in captivity, I think it's like only 4 foot or something like that. But when they're in the ocean, they get to like 12, 18 feet or something like that, right? It's because of the environment. So if you feel stuck, if you feel that you ain't growing, check your environment.